Okay, Nick and Andy, huge semi-final at Euro 2024, Spain against France. I mean, this is going to be an incredible clash of Munich, clash of styles as well, and form. Spain very much in great form. France just getting it done, business-like, I guess you could say. Nick Mendola, what are your thoughts on this? What should be an epic battle between two heavyweights of European football?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've just been waiting for France to come to life, and Spain has been alive, very much so. It's strange the way we went into this tournament, and especially at tournaments, we should believe our eyes more often than not. And yet, it's so hard to just say that there's a clear favorite here, and yet I feel there's a clear favorite here, and I think it's Spain. What do you guys think?
Andy, you want to go?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they have an identity. They know who they are as a team, even being the younger team, even being the team without a lot of major tournament experience. Obviously, they've got a few individuals, but the key players and it's the wingers, most notably that not just have driven this team forward, but I think have driven kind of a stylistic change for Spanish football a little bit. You know,
Oh,
how
yeah.
long was it just the short passing and the tiki-taka death by a thousand passes? And now it's we're going to get forward out wide. We're going to transition quickly. Lamine Yamal on one side, Nico Williams on the other side, who hopefully we see in the Premier League this year. Maybe, fingers crossed, somebody go get him. But they have been the most impressive team, I think, from start to finish through this tournament. And I'll give a shout out to you, Joe. I think right before the start of the tournament, I think you had a little feeling about Spain, and you threw it out there, and you couldn't have been more right.
Wow, we can all make a lot of predictions, and sometimes they stick and come off. So, yeah, I was feeling it with Spain, to be honest. I think what I didn't expect is the intensity and sort of the pressing, and like you said, Andy, the change in style is just when you see that Spanish jersey on, you expect a certain style of football, and it's totally different. And in a very good way, it's totally different as well with those youngsters, Williams and Yamal. It's been sensational to watch, and obviously, we all know, everyone knows how much we love Rodri on this show, and him at the heart of it. And I don't think he's been that influential or that great at this tournament, but he's just there and he's a great backup player because Spain probably need that from time to time with the amount of bodies that they do pour forward in these attacks. And I think it just gives them a really nice balance to these teams. But, they're going to have a lot of changes for this with the suspensions. Carvajal, Lenormand out as well. Pedri obviously out injured. So I think they have enough depth, Nick Mendola. That's the only kind of issue I have with Spain. They've been so settled throughout this tournament, but whenever like Olmo's come in or Torres has come in or any player, really Nacho at the back for the last game, they've done okay, right? And they kind of, you look in their bench, you're like, yeah, they're actually pretty deep and pretty strong.
Yeah, I think there's something also to the the identity of the national team is understood, and it flows throughout the team. And if they were to change tactics necessarily, or formation, or personnel, it doesn't necessarily change the way that they play altogether.
Yes.
And it's interesting because you start to look at the team, and there are big names, don't get me wrong, but you start to wonder, can this be the start of something? We're getting ahead of ourselves, but if they were to pull out a win here, this is a program that we saw win 3 major tournaments in a row, what is that, 15 years ago. So
Yeah.
They're really exciting. They're fun, and they play a sort of comprehensive style.
Yeah, I love it. And I think France, though, we can't rule them out, though. Defensively, obviously, been excellent. I mean, since N'Golo Kante came into the team, they've just been pretty much unbeatable in terms of giving up big chances. But at the other end of the pitch is where we're concerned, and I never really thought we'd be that concerned about this French team, Andy. I mean, no goals from open play so far. They have an Mbappe penalty kick and 2 own goals, and somehow they're in the semi-final of this tournament. It just tells you how good defensively they've been. And I mean, but it's not that they're not creating chances, right? I was looking at the XG. Yeah. They're actually, created a lot of opportunities, and they have the biggest differential between XG and goals scored. So they, been dipping well below, maybe just a bit unlucky in the final third. But I guess it could click at any point, right? That's what's so dangerous for this French team. And Mbappe has looked a bit out of sorts, obviously, since the broken nose, and he's wearing a mask and just playing through that. But Griezmann, Dembele, Colomani, they have so many good players in that attacking area that can just do something in a moment. So it's not like we're writing off France here at all.
No, I don't want to jump too far ahead and get to predictions quite yet. but I'm going with France. I think this is
Wow.
the game that we see them break out a little bit. You mentioned it, Joe. The suspensions along the back line for Spain, that's been a big, just kind of holding things together for them. As aggressive as they are going forward, I think you put Mbappe and Kolo Muani next to each other, making those runs in behind. They're both very versatile. They can get out wide. They can go through the middle. They can get in behind. This is going to be, I think, probably the matchup for Spain where it just doesn't quite click, and they find themselves under pressure, the kind of pressure that they've been putting teams under at this tournament, where France are going to they're going to defend deeply. It's going to look a little strange to see all of that amazing talent for France defend deep, but when they get out on the counter, I think they're going to be really dangerous in this game, and they're going to we're going to finally see Kylian Mbappe arrive at this tournament. We're going to finally see the favorites alongside England show up for the first time. It's been 5 games. You mentioned no goals from open play. It's been, they sleptwalked through this tournament so far, and they're in the semifinals. I think that says a lot about obviously the experience of some of the veterans in this team, but I think there is a lot more to come from them, and we're going to see it in the semis.
I mean, Nick mentioned some of the French players. William Saliba from Arsenal has been exceptional at centre-back, and that's a big reason why they've been so good at this tournament defensively. And it just, like Andy said, it seems like a lot of the bigger nations, all right, we're talking about them in the semi-finals, and they haven't been that impressive, but they also haven't really looked like losing games, right? And that's a great quality to have. And I think maybe we overlook that through tournaments sometimes. And Deschamps is, quite a pragmatic coach, I think. But I think France's fans are fine with it because he's won a World Cup and got to finals, and it's worked for them. And it just feels all very familiar for this French side, right, in terms of what to expect and where they're at right now in this tournament.
Yeah, I look at them as a team that is been hardened, and I don't think they've necessarily, Mbappe's body language from time to time with the mask, etc., been too put off or too bothered. It is a bit of survive and advance. And you mentioned Saliba and Koundé and Hernandez, and that you start to look and you think to yourself, I actually had to do this earlier in the tournament. Well, who's missing? Like, why is this team? Nobody's missing. I mean, they're all there. I think there are some questions.
It's a playmaker in midfield, right? It's 3 defensive midfielders that are winning the ball and shuttling and passing sideways in possession. It's just
sorry. You're 100% right. There's a weakness.
Yeah.
I meant there's no one missing from like the, there's not a guy there that we're like, oh man, he has been doing it for them and he's not there right now, right? The closest thing is maybe Lucas Hernandez, who's a back anyway. So they're right there. It's not insane at all to pick France, especially with Mbappe probably closing in on just being remarkably overdue to just have one of those games where he tears it up. But I want to see who delivers alongside him.
Yeah, that's a big question. I'm going to go score predictions first. I'm going 2-1 to Spain. I just think they have momentum, the flow, even with some of the injuries. Suspensions and injury to Pedri. I think they're still going to find a way. They create so many chances on the break, and I think at some point France are going to have to come out and have a go. So that's what I'm going with. Andy, you're going to go with France?
Yeah, I'll go 2-0. It's going to be a frustrating one for Spain. It's probably something we're going to look back on 2 years' time, 4 years' time, and say, that was a learning experience for this young team coming of age at a major tournament, going up against France, getting eliminated. They are, I mentioned it there, the 3 defensive midfielders in the middle, and I know Spain are doing a lot of their work out wide, progressing the ball there, creating their chances from there. But you think N'Golo Kante is not going to track out to the wing and offer a little bit of defensive help? The work rate in this France team is really incredible, and I think it's going to frustrate Spain as much as anything in this game and take them out of their game.
Nick?
I'll go for extra time and Spain 3-2. Just to be different. 2-1 probably feels right, but look, there's a battle in the midfield with Rodri and Kante and all that, and I think when all's said and done, there will be more chances than we think because of the balls that fall the way we don't supposed to, and both of those players better vision than we give them credit for as we think about them as destroying attacks.
Yeah, 2 incredible teams, Spain or France. One of them is going to be in the final in Berlin. Head over to Pro Soccer Talk on NBCSports.com for all the latest team news, live analysis, reaction, and much more on this huge semi-final at the European Championship. Spain against France. lads, I cannot wait for this one.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock. And be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you there.